This is a Flying Cow production.
Well, hello and welcome back to the Great Film Challenge. I, of course, am your host, Clay Johnson, the Flying Cow himself, and here with me again is my nephew Aaron. Aaron, how we doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I will say this episode is coming out. I'm deciding right now. We're going to release this on Halloween because Halloween is on Friday. So it's just technically one day before. And it's like, if we stuck to our regular release schedule, it would come out the day after Halloween.
Yeah.
So on November 1st, why are we going to do that?
No.
We're not going to do that. So we're going to release this on Halloween. So if you are listening to this the day it comes out, you are listening to it on Halloween day, night, afternoon, whatever time you decide to listen to it that day. But yeah, we are actually talking about very fittingly the film Halloween from 1978, also known as John Carpenter's Halloween, because it was directed by, surprise, surprise, John Carpenter.
Oh my God.
I know, right? Crazy. And let's see, music also by John Carpenter, and it stars Donald Pleasance, Jamie Lee Curtis, PJ Souls, Nancy Loomis, and many, many more. So, Aaron, this is a film that's pretty, like, I will say at least the idea of the Halloween franchise is pretty well known.
Yeah.
What did you know about this first movie, though, going into it?
I just knew that it was about Michael.
Michael Myers.
And Michael Myers, of course.
Yeah. I will say he's credited
terrorizing the town,
in the
basically.
credits as the Shape. That's the way he was originally described. I feel like them calling him Michael so many times in the film came later.
Yeah.
I think they really wanted him to be thought of as the Shape, but
I don't think that would have worked out as well.
Well, I mean, I think for this film it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Maybe for the franchise, but I mean, just from, I will say this is the only film of the franchise I have seen. I really like it, but I have not heard enough good things about the other films to make me interested in watching them. So it actually might have been better if, maybe there wasn't that name tied to it, so they would want to make more. Who knows? But so you knew it was about Michael Myers.
Yeah.
You knew it was like a slasher.
Yes.
But you didn't really know much more going into it.
No,
Okay.
I didn't know much about the plot and everything, all that stuff. I just heard the music and knew about Michael.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
That was it.
Well, I mean, I will say I honestly only saw this, I mean, maybe around 10 years ago. No, it was a little later than that. Probably closer to like 6 or 7. But again, like you, this was a film that I had heard of.
Yeah.
But I hadn't seen. I grew up basically thinking that I hated horror films. Because to me, they were all just the blood and guts and gore, and I just thought of late 80s slashers. Whereas, if a lot of the like proto horror films, there's not a lot of blood. There's not a lot of, I mean, there might be some, maybe not any thought of as creative anymore, but at the time, they were very creative kills. kills.
Yeah.
But the gore factor really came in, once it started going. I mean, I will say probably it not full steam, but it was a little bit more in there in the original Friday the 13th, which pretty much everyone associated with that film has basically said, oh yeah, it's straight up a ripoff of Halloween. I mean, it's just set at a summer camp instead of a small town. It's very much the same, a lot of the same concepts, a lot of this. I mean, honestly, a lot of very similar kills in it too. I mean, I think they do ramp up the violence, like I said, a little bit. And I think there are more deaths in the original Friday the 13th. But like I said, those early, even the early Friday the 13th, I mean, I was about to say Nightmare on Elm Street, but it does have a blood geyser coming out of the bed. So I guess, but they're not like pulling out guts or anything like that. It's just blood and such. But so when I finally watched, I was like, this is mainly a suspense. Feels more suspenseful.
It was much more of a thriller or suspense movie. And
right.
Honestly, I liked that.
Well, I mean, I honestly think that thriller is a type of horror.
Yeah.
It's and not to say that there aren't, thriller movies that most people wouldn't even consider horror films, but a lot of them will have their base, because you can have a suspense film that is really just like a mystery. Or something like that. That's not necessarily a horror film. It could be, but it's not necessarily. But yeah, this is definitely kind of started off the big 80s slasher boom. But it's much more about the tension and such than it is about the gore.
Yeah. I liked that just all the suspension and the tension that they had built up.
Yeah.
Where it fluctuated at different points.
Sure.
I also really liked that no one believes that there really is someone.
Right.
The entire time, even up to the end, where something would make it so plausible.
Right.
And still there's nothing.
Well, yeah, I mean, we see that in, 3 different characters. Obviously we've got the Dr. Samuel Loomis, played by Donald Pleasance, who is basically telling everyone, that Michael has escaped from his the hospital that he's been living at for the last 15 years. If anyone is not familiar with this film, I mean, I'm wondering where you've been. But if anyone is not, like I said, maybe you haven't seen it, but you probably know at least the broad strokes. But basically it is about a young boy by the name of Michael, when he was, I think they said 6.
Yes.
Killed his sister on Halloween night with a knife, and he has now been institutionalized for 15 years. And the way that the doctor describes him is that he is devoid of all emotion. He's basically your straight up sociopath monster.
Yeah.
They're really trying to, take away any sort of, he didn't have a good reason for this. This literally is just darkness. It's just evil. It's just, that's really kind of where they want Michael to sit. It wasn't until later that they wanted to give him some pathos and some other things and make Jamie Lee Curtis his sister. That's not this film. He is just a sociopathic monster on a killing spree.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting that, the very first time we see the face of Michael Myers, it is the face of a 6-year-old boy. And then, I mean, we do see an adult version of his face later on in the film.
Yeah, very briefly.
Very briefly.
And it looks really funny.
I mean, you know, it's late 70s makeup effects and stuff. But I mean, you can tell that he's, you know, had some scars and such. You know, but yeah. You know, he's really just out, you know, for all we know at this point, he's got no reason to kill these babysitters. They just happen to be nearby his old house, and he's like, you know what? They look like fun. Yeah. But as we mentioned, there are 3 people, you know, who are trying to alert people. Nobody believes any of them. Nobody believes, the sheriff doesn't believe the doctor that Michael has come back to this town. And then, you know, when Jamie Lee Curtis's character, Lori, is telling her friend that they're being followed, you know, she doesn't believe her. And then even Lori, when the boy that she's babysitting says that he sees, now it doesn't help that he's calling him the boogeyman.
No.
But when he says he sees the boogeyman, she doesn't even question it. She's just like, no, you're just seeing things. Which, you know, goes to show you, listen to children. At least check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, we haven't really talked a whole lot about this film. What were your overall thoughts on this film?
It was a really fun movie.
Okay.
But it was also, you could see all the attention to detail put in. And I really liked that it was shown that it was well built.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did pay a bit more attention to the music, not as much as I usually would have, but it was fun.
Yeah.
It really accompanied everything well.
Mm-hmm.
The motifs worked out pretty well.
Sure.
And
yeah,
there's a lot of you're good. There's a lot of character depth as well.
Sure.
It's a lot more believable than most, any really scary movie, honestly. Like with the other school kids bullying him, with the boogeyman bit, or the cop clearly being just shit. Like you could very clearly tell that he wasn't putting a lot of effort into anything. What was her name? Lori?
Yeah.
She was really believable. You could actually get a lot of emotion and authenticity from that. And I liked that.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you know, you mentioned the music. Obviously, the score for this film is iconic.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I had already heard it, but watching it with the movie made it a lot better.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I will say I feel like the music is doing a lot of heavy lifting in terms of building the suspense in this film. I feel like if you watch this without the music, you know, it's because there are times when we're literally just watching, you know, young girls walk down the street. Yeah. And they're just doing normal mundane things. But because that music is behind it, it's like, okay, something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Something. I mean, and I will say, you know, it's not till the last like 20 minutes that the kills and everything start kicking in. So you really are just kind of following these kids, following these people walk through their lives in Haddonfield, Illinois. And it's just like, you know, without the music, like kind of keeping you like, okay, is something going to happen now? Is something going to happen now? You know, it could become a little mundane.
Yeah. And like in some of the parts where sometimes they would be in the house or other places, like when there was no music, something you could tell that was gonna start or happen in a bit. And then it would kick in.
Right.
That, I really liked that. The sequencing and the timing with the music was done really well.
Nice. Well, I mean, I will say, you know, this film was, I believe, the first film appearance of Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis, who was the daughter of, excuse me, trying to remember her mother's name. Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh are her parents. So, both, actors, pretty well-known actors. I will say Janet Leigh actually is most famous for another film that we almost watched. I'm pretty sure it's Psycho, right? I'm not seeing it on here. Hold on. Let me double check. Yeah, she was, yes. So, she was in Psycho. Her character, famously, is, well, actually, you haven't seen it, so we're not going to talk about it. But I think it's funny that both of these were on our list for potential watches. Unfortunately, we didn't get to Psycho. We'll get to that later. I just, she's coming into this film, like I said, this is her first film, Jamie Lee Curtis. So did anything stick out to you about her? What did you think about her performance in this?
She was Laurie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The things I had already said, I didn't recognize that it was Jamie Lee Curtis.
Sure. She's like 17, I think, when they made this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think she just had an older face to me. She didn't look like.
I was going to say, right away, you said she's not a teenager, and I'm like, actually, she was.
She didn't look like a teenager to me.
Yeah.
She looked.
Well, she was 20 when it came out, but that means that she was like 19 when they filmed, 18 or 19 when they filmed it.
I think she just has an older face.
Sure.
But no, I did like her performance a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly what I had already said earlier. There's a lot of authenticity behind it.
Yeah.
A lot of it's the same thing with all the other characters. Like, there's so many like in-depth and real world things that they apply to all of them, and where we're going with them and how we follow that I really, really like.
Awesome. All right. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about this film?
Not that I can think of now.
Not that you can think of. All right. Well, then it is time to go ahead and let people know how they can get in contact with us. So, of course, you can always check out our socials at The Flying Cow Pod. You can also email at theflyingcowpod@gmail.com. Make sure to let us know what you're thinking, about these reviews and such. And like, subscribe, all that other stuff. And Aaron, it would now normally be time for us to spin the wheel.
Yeah.
But as we have mentioned in the last couple of episodes, unfortunately, our schedules are not conducive to a regular schedule. So until we get back to a place where we can, put these out weekly, when we get the opportunity to record, we're really just gonna watch what we want to.
Yeah.
And that's on the list. And then, record that. So I will say we had already decided.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons, partially because I think the next time we will be releasing is actually going to be on my birthday.
Yeah.
And it happens to be the same weekend that the director's cut of Rocky IV is going to be in theaters locally. So we have decided to go ahead and watch Rocky.
Yeah.
For our next film. And I will say Rocky is one of my all-time favorite films. And it's one of those movies that the more I watch it, the more I like it. So I've been really excited to share it with you. And hopefully,
I'm curious.
yeah, hopefully we can get through a few of the other ones building up to the Rocky IV director's cut.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys should be hearing our review, at least of Rocky, coming up very soon. But until that time, moo.